What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 315.2, our boys basketball summer report with the Lapel Bulldogs and head coach Kevin Cherry, co-hosted by Grant Shouse.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Most of the time, Grant, if a team is 18-6 and loses a pair of 1,000-point scores, you think, oh no, next year might be 6-18. But that is certainly not the case for Lapel, coming off a disappointing end to last season for sure, but so much promise with this young roster.
Yeah, and Coach Cherry talked about how this summer they went 26-5. They played just over 30 games this summer. And that's a lot of games. That's about as many as you'd be playing in a regular season if you go deep into the state tournament. They have a lot of newcomers that you'll hear about. You'll hear Coach Cherry talk about, but he's doing a fantastic job with them this year, and they're going to be a team to look out for. And they beefed up their schedule. Going to be playing Anderson like they always do, Liberty Christian, Pendleton Heights, and then, talking about, adding Lafayette Jeff to the schedule this next season as well. So it's going to be a good year for Lapel. And, I heard a coach say the other day that you don't hand out championships in the summer, but if you do, then you'd probably hand one out to this Lapel team.
It's a great way of putting it. Here's our earlier conversation with Coach Cherry. Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Lapel head coach Kevin Cherry. And Coach, I know you have a lot of big shoes to fill on that program. What have you seen from this summer?
Well, we just finished our June season, if you will, in the Tuesday night Pack League, where you played every Tuesday night, 2 games. And I have to tell you, Greg, in all the years I've been coaching, this month of June has probably been the most pleasing for a lot of different reasons that I'm sure we'll talk about. But it was a very successful month for us as a program, and I think it set us up nicely for this upcoming season.
Coach, what was the most pleasing about this summer for you as a team?
Good question, Grant.
Yeah, well, okay, so we're going to have 5 seniors that return to our program next year. And we've had kids in our program that have just been biding their time for their opportunity to contribute at a varsity level. Now, they've contributed every day in practice, and our coaching staff, we've seen that every day for the last 2 to 3 years in some of these kids. It's just, we've had some really good players in front of them. But the 5 seniors that we've got coming back, Tyler Cash has had a fantastic June. And when it comes to shooting the basketball, he shoots it every bit as high as some of the most elite shooters that I've had an opportunity to coach. He's had a fantastic summer. Quinn Wilkins comes back, and again, he shoots the ball at a very high level, and he's now played varsity basketball. This will be his 3rd season.
In spite of his genetics, right?
Yeah, that came from you, not me. Luke Jones comes back, who started last year. Devin Craig comes back as last year, and then we've got some juniors that we'll put around them. So I think, when it's all said and done, we may surprise some people from our, we lose 2 1,000-point scores, and for you to say, hey, I think we got a chance to be every bit as good as we were last year, that doesn't normally go hand in hand, but I think that is the case.
Who was the most impressive team you guys played this summer?
Park Heritage. Man, they're really good. We played Westfield too, and I shouldn't say, Westfield, I knew Westfield was going to be extremely good, but we just have never crossed paths with Park Heritage, with them being in Southern Indiana.
Right.
And we played them up at the D1 camp, and we actually, we were fortunate enough to beat them once, and then they beat us in the championship game at D1. But they are really good. They have great size. Their guard play is really elite, and they have a very nice team, and I would think they have a good chance of starting the season ranked number 1 in Class 2A.
Who are some of the newcomers for you guys that have made strides over the month of June?
Liam Coe, who's going to be a sophomore for us, man, he's going to be a really, really nice player before his career's over. And I think he does a fantastic job now. Really unselfish. He's got a body. He plays football also. So physically, he's able to handle the basketball under some pressure and take contact and finish at the rim. Not like a lot of sophomores, just because physically he's pretty ready. So he has been a nice surprise. We have a kid that's going to come back out and who's played with us this summer. His name's Reed Hamilton. He'll be a junior, but he plays football as a track athlete, and he brought a little edge to him this summer, especially on the defensive end. That was a pleasant surprise. You know, a kid takes a year off and then comes back. You're thinking, well, has he lost a step, or, you know, what's this going to be? And he didn't really lose anything. So we're excited to get Reed back and see how he can help us at the varsity level. But I think we'll have 10 kids at the varsity level that'll be able to help us on any given night.
Yeah, you're going to have some tough decisions to make roster-wise and playing time-wise.
Well, our motto this summer was, it's just all gas, no brakes. And I know that sounds cliche, but we want to use that depth to our advantage. I mean, if we got it, we've got to be able to take advantage of that. And so we think over a course of 32 minutes, you know, if we can apply pressure at a high level and wear that other team down, that may be an advantage for us. And certainly this summer, that was the case. We played, this is crazy too to me when I was thinking about it, we played 31 games. It's a little bit misleading because we got 13 at D1 over at that team camp, and then we had 9 at Findlay at that team camp. So then the Tuesday night league, and then we hosted our own shootout. But we were 26-5 over those 31 games.
Wow.
And it was apparent to me that you get, and it's summer and conditioning isn't the same, but we get to the second half of those games and we're still running and doing the things that we want to do. And those other teams just, you know, sometimes physically their conditioning could not keep up. And that'll change throughout the season and whatnot. But it really opened my eyes. And I've never been a guy that plays 10 guys in a rotation. So I'm going to have to probably be a better coach and try to figure that out. But we've got that as an advantage, and I want to certainly try to find a way to maximize that advantage. I'd say it was a fun summer, and one of the reasons we did do those team camps and try to play a few more games than we typically do is those seniors that are coming, the Tyler Cash, Andrew Evelo's another senior, they really haven't seen varsity minutes per se, and so I thought it was important to get them out and get them more game-like minutes, if you will, this summer. And so that was one of the other reasons we played probably more games than we should have, honestly, but that's what we did.
Coach, talk about your schedule next season. Who are some of the new opponents that you've picked up, or is it just going to be the same teams that you've played here in the last few years?
No, our schedule is going to change actually quite a bit. It's funny. I mean, every year, I don't know why teams drop us. These are good matchups that we should play them every year, but for whatever reason, some schools elected to drop us. But so we picked up. We're going to pick up Lafayette Jeff, with Coach Barnheiser being a Lapel guy. They came to our shootout and we actually played them. But so they're going to be added to our schedule. Yorktown's added to our schedule.
Are you going to be going over to Lafayette Jeff, or are they going to come here?
Those details are still being worked out.
Okay.
We'd like to host them just from a balancing of our schedule standpoint, but I don't know exactly how that's going to play out yet. Anderson comes back onto our schedule.
Of course, things are changing quite a bit because there's no Madison County tournament anymore.
Yeah, and you know, that's for us. I see both sides of that issue. There's some schools that didn't see any value in that anymore, and they have their reasons for that, and that's fine. For us, not being in a conference, it was something that, you know, our guys could look forward to in season versus having a conference championship we're playing for throughout the season. So I hated to see us kind of forced to get out of that. Not that we're forced to get out of that, but that's just the way that played out, because they stopped having that. But one of the cool ideas that I've came up with, and I don't come up with many good ideas, but I thought this was a pretty good idea, was Liberty Christian is going to come onto our schedule this year.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, having a doubleheader with Pendleton Heights, Anderson, Liberty Christian Lapel would be a pretty cool thing for the county if we could have that event evolve. And 3 of the 4 schools, I won't call anybody out, but 3 of the 4 schools have thought that that's a good idea. So if we can get that 4th one to come on board, maybe that'll end up happening as well.
Gotcha.
Name names, coach.
I'm sworn to secrecy.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Always appreciate it. And look forward to working with you in this upcoming season. Sounds like it's going to be a good one.
Well, cautiously optimistic. And
thank you so much to Coach Cherry for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report, and to Grant for helping me out with all of these summer reports. If you haven't heard, we did about 8 of them. I think it was 8. Go back and find those. Pretty easy to find. Hey, do us a huge favor and help us spread the word about the Central Indiana Sports Report. Please share it with your friends and family. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie's.